You watch them get up this morning, that slow repositioning, the pause before the first step, the careful way they found their footing, and you told yourself, it's just age. But here's what most owners never realize: that hesitation isn't inevitable. In many cases, it's the direct result of something you're doing every single day without knowing it. 1. The morning walk is the worst time to walk a stiff dog. You've probably never questioned it. The routine goes, dog wakes up, you leash up, you walk. It's always been that way. It feels responsible. It feels kind. And your older dog still pulls toward the door, still wants to go, so you go. Here's what's actually happening in their body at that moment. After a full night of rest, synovial fluid, the natural lubricant that cushions your dog's joints, is at its least distributed. The joint tissue is cool, less pliable, and carrying the low-grade inflammation that accumulates in aging cartilage overnight. A study out of the University of Bristol's veterinary school in 2019 found that joint stiffness in older dogs peaks in the first 30 to 45 minutes after waking, mirroring the morning stiffness pattern seen in humans with early-stage arthritis. The adjustment is simple, and it costs you nothing. Wait. Let them move around the house first. Let them stretch naturally, drink water, find their body. 20 minutes of gentle indoor movement before a walk allows the synovial fluid to redistribute and the joint tissue to warm from the inside out. Then walk. That walk you thought was helping them start the day was the hardest thing you were asking them to do all day. 2. The food bowl on the floor is quietly straining their neck and spine. Twice a day, every day, your older dog drops their head to floor level and holds that position for the full length of their meal. You've never thought about it because it's always just been how dogs eat. The bowl goes on the floor. That's where bowls go. But consider the angle. For a dog already managing joint stiffness in their neck, shoulders, or spine that sustain downward extension compresses the cervical vertebrae and places continuous load on the muscles and connective tissue surrounding the shoulder joints. Veterinary physiotherapists increasingly flag this as a compounding stressor, not dramatic in any single meal, but significant across thousands of repetitions over months and years. Raising the bowl changes everything. It doesn't need to be expensive. A stable surface that brings the bowl level with your dog's lower chest is enough. The angle shifts, the compression releases, and the muscles that have been quietly bracing twice a day finally get to rest. Something you've done every single day, twice a day, without a second thought, fixed in an afternoon. And your dog will feel the difference by dinner. 3. The couch jump they still insist on is doing cumulative damage. You love that they still do it. It feels like proof that they're still themselves, still bold, still present, still your dog. They get that look, they gauge the distance, and they launch. And you smile because it means they're okay. Here's the thing. The jump up is manageable. It's the landing that does the work. When an older dog lands from even a moderate height, the impact force travels directly through the carpals, through the elbow and shoulder joints, and up into a spine that has less cushioning than it once did. Do that twice a day for a year, and you're looking at hundreds of high-impact landings on joints that are already carrying inflammation. The solution isn't to keep them off the furniture, it's to give them a ramp or a set of low steps, something that lets them get where they want to go without the impact. Most dogs adapt within a few days, and once they do, they use it every time, because their body already knew the jump was costing them something. Letting them keep doing it because they want to isn't love. Protecting them from it while still letting them be close to you is. And if that one surprised you, stay with me until number 6, because there's one thing most owners do immediately after a walk that veterinary physiotherapists say is one of the most damaging habits for an older dog's joints. 4. The flooring in your home may be causing more harm than any exercise. Think about where your dog walks most. Hardwood, tile, polished concrete. Surfaces that look clean and feel comfortable to you. Now think about what your dog's paws are doing on those surfaces every single time they move. The slight splay, the micro correction, the quiet scramble to find grip that you've probably stopped noticing because it's always just been there. That constant muscular effort to compensate for low traction doesn't just tire them out. It destabilizes the joints from the ground up. The hip, stifle, and elbow joints of a dog moving on slick flooring are under a kind of low-level lateral stress that simply doesn't exist on surfaces with grip. Over months and years, that stress accumulates in the soft tissue and connective structures surrounding already vulnerable joints. Yoga mats, rubber-backed runners, interlocking foam tiles along the routes your dog travels most, these are not luxuries. Place them between their bed and the door, between the kitchen and the living room, anywhere they move through regularly. Traction is joint protection, and joint protection starts at the floor. The safest place in the world for your dog is your home. A few small changes can make it feel that way for their body too. 5. Rest isn't the same as recovery, and too much of it is its own problem. You've been letting them sleep more, cutting the walks shorter, keeping things quiet because you want to be careful, because you love them, and careful feels like the right way to show it. And in many ways it is. But there's a line, and a lot of well-meaning owners cross it without realizing. Here's what happens inside a joint that stays still for too long. Synovial fluid isn't a static pool. It circulates through movement. When a dog is inactive for extended periods, that fluid thins, reduces in volume, and becomes less effective at cushioning cartilage. A study out of North Carolina State University's College of Veterinary Medicine in 2021 found that controlled low-impact movement in dogs with osteoarthritis measurably improved joint fluid quality and reduced inflammation markers compared to rest-only management. Movement, done gently and consistently, is part of the medicine. The target isn't stillness. It's short, frequent, low-impact movement, 2 or 3 brief, gentle walks across the day rather than one long one. Swimming, if it's accessible, is close to ideal. The goal is to keep the fluid moving without loading the joint beyond what it can absorb. If this is shifting how you think about your older dog's daily routine, consider subscribing. There's a lot more on this channel about reading your dog's body and giving them exactly what they need, and it only gets more specific from here. The gentlest thing you can do for an aging dog isn't stillness. It's the right kind of movement, at the right time, in the right amount. 6. What you do immediately after a walk is quietly undoing everything. Here's what most owners do. You come home, you unclip the leash, and your dog finds the nearest cool spot and lies down. On tile, on hardwood, on concrete near the back door. And you let them because they seem happy and settled, and you've just done something good for them. The walk happened. Job done. But here's what's happening inside that joint. A walk, even a gentle one, warms the tissue, increases circulation, and gets the synovial fluid moving. That's good. That's exactly what you want. But when a warm, circulation-rich joint is then placed directly onto a cold, hard surface without a wind-down period, the tissue temperature drops rapidly, and the fluid that was just doing its job begins to thicken and retreat. The joint that was opening up closes back down, faster and tighter than if you'd never walked at all. The 10 minutes after a walk matter as much as the walk itself. Guide them to a warm, padded surface immediately when you return. Let them rest there. If you can, do 2 or 3 minutes of very slow, loose movement. Just a gentle wander through the house before the lie down. You're completing the cycle. not interrupting it. The walk isn't just what happens outside. It's what you do in the 10 minutes after that determines whether it helped or hurt. 7. You're reading your dog's pain signals all wrong. They haven't cried. They haven't whimpered. They still wag, still eat, still come to you when you call. So you've told yourself they're okay. Maybe slowing down a little, sure, but okay. Not in pain. You would know if they were in pain. Here's what the science says about that. Dogs evolved as prey animals as much as predators, and concealing vulnerability is one of the oldest survival instincts in the canine system. A study out of the University of Edinburgh's Veterinary Research Division in 2018 found that dogs consistently underperform on pain expression scales relative to their confirmed injury or inflammation levels, meaning they show far less than they feel. The signals are there, they're just quieter than we've been taught to look for. Watch for these: a slight reluctance to sit or lie down in their usual spot, a preference for one resting position over another, a lag in standing up that lasts longer than a few seconds, licking a joint repeatedly, a walk that starts well and slows after a few minutes without obvious reason. None of these look like pain. All of them are. Your dog has been telling you every single day. You just needed someone to translate. Loving an older dog asks something specific from you. Not grand gestures, not desperate interventions. Just a finer quality of attention, the willingness to look at the ordinary moments of their day and ask whether you could do them better. That's what they need from you now. And the fact that you're asking the question at all means you're already giving it to them.